What's good, y'all? Welcome to Hearts at Ease podcast. I'm your host, Sasha, and I have a special guest. Her name is Janaiya. Me and Janaiya worked together recently where I worked alongside of her at an event, Monumental Lifestyle Experience. And we both shared some poetry at that event, and we shared some like talks around collaborating. And I'm so excited because it's finally happening. Like we here. It's real. And one thing I've been wanting to do more of on my podcast, as you guys have mainly just only solely heard me speak, is collaborate with other people who I feel are in alignment with things around wellness, things around healing, just full alignment with how I show up and want to evolve and grow. And so I'm super excited. Janaiya is my first person on this to collaborate with me, and I couldn't ask for a better person to come alongside of me today and just talk about the things that I like to talk about, or the things we like to talk about, the things we put into action, and how we actually move in the world to support ourselves and other people in our community. So, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
honored to be here.
We talked about this a while back, and it's just like it's so cool to see like things just manifest in such a way.
And when we spoke about it, I didn't know or like realize I was going to be here first. So I'm honored.
Pressure's on. You feel me? But today we're just gonna, I believe on the last, I stated that the last episode was the last episode. And so this episode is like a bonus to me, and a present to me in the sense of the whole series that I did on my podcast was about coming back to the garden. That was like the whole theme of it. And what that meant to me is like sharing my experiences through healing, through the survival, through, just like overcoming these thoughts and ideas of like maintaining an identity that no longer serves you, or you're just in a different place, and how that looks in real time, what is actually happening, what I was processing, and just kind of the outcome from that. And so throughout the podcast series, I talked about things like structure versus chaos, right? Like how important it is to establish some structure in your life, but also like recognizing how much you enjoy the the ups and downs. And that's the thing, right? Is like I think the biggest a lot of times when I'm talking on my podcast, the message is for me too. Like it's not just like, guys, I've done this thing and I've healed from it and I'm moving on and like life is great. No, like these are day-to-day practices that I too am putting in and also need a reminder of. So sometimes I might play, sometimes it's still hard for me to hear my own voice. And so, but there's moments where I play an episode and I'm like, man, I needed that message today. Like, because, yeah.
I did. I have some of those same moments too, like watching my own videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
It'd be tough. You'd be like, oh, why I
when
look like that? Why I say that? But no.
I'm making the video at like exactly at the exact time that I'm needing to hear what I'm saying to other people.
Yeah.
So like, so when someone else says like, oh, like I needed to hear that, I appreciate that. I'm like, well, I'm glad that you appreciate it. I'm glad that it served you also,
Right.
because it is serving me right now.
Exactly. Like needed that right
Yes.
now,
Yeah.
today. And before, let me back up, y'all. I'm sorry. Janaiya, I'm gonna let Janaiya take the lead on introducing herself for real, but I know Janaiya as a poet, as a model, as a person who really strives to evolve and kind of put whatever they're learning out into the universe to help other people. Like whether it's all wellness to me when I'm looking at it. It's wellness and beautiful art that you are creating, and I appreciate you sharing that with me, with the world, because I know we met through again like poetry, and in that space that we were in. So, but Janaiya is fire, and so I don't feel like I'll do it justice to introduce you. So tell my people like who listening what you want them to know about you.
Thank you. My name is Janaiya.embodied on Instagram. I am a poet. I am a model. I am a runway model, also a beauty model, and I am very much into fashion as well. I'm also a mental health advocate. I am absolutely dedicated to continued personal growth and helping other people and encouraging other people in their own personal journeys of growth also.
Yeah.
I am a poet and a creative writer, just writing in general, and creativity in general, and encouraging other people to express themselves and their creativity and their authentic selves through whatever means, whether that is, I do it in so many different ways, whether that is poetry,
Yeah.
whether that is fashion, whether that is in the way that I communicate, whether that is in the way that I wear my hair, or I paint sometimes. Um, I also make herbal tea blends. Um, I'm
See what I
Reiki
mean?
certified. I do Reiki.
See what I mean?
I'm an advocate for all things wellness.
Yeah.
And that's wellness it is
It's all
mind,
things.
body, spirit, emotions, all of that. So whatever helps your mental health, whether that's any form of expression or release, whether that's your whatever form of creativity you find and release, whether that's working out or
Yeah, I'm about that gym.
yeah.
For real. Yeah.
The gym, yoga, Pilates, all of it,
Just movement. Yeah,
movements,
so important.
walks, and finding different forms of like meditation and silence and presence, whether that is sitting crisscross applesauce in stillness, or whether that's a meditation walk, or meditating in the shower, or just doing anything in silence where you can be
And
open
his,
and
yeah,
present
exactly.
and to listen and to receive and just
Yeah, it creates room for us to be able to receive it. It just makes sense, right? Like you can hear a lot of things when you in noise and in places, but like I feel like you get the best information for yourself and just like some awareness, like increasing your awareness. Like, man, that thought has been playing in my mind like all day today, actually.
yeah.
But when you get in that quiet space, it actually gives you time to like, it's just time to flow through you, like, so you can create a room for your ancestors or whatever your beliefs is, like however you receive, and I think it creates a lot of space for that. Yeah. Which is also things I talked about in Coming to the Garden, which was like, I had just learned. So when people are talking about their why, what's your why, right? For moving how you move, doing things how you do it. One of two whys for me was like, I got tired of overthinking so much, like being in question about everything. Like everything would take me a minute because I done created some storylines or whatever in my mind to where it just froze me. Like then I wouldn't do anything. Then I get into depression or whatever because I just, no movement. And so I started meditating where I thought that it was going to take away the like negative thinking entirely. Like, just like I've had the notion about healing in the sense of like, there's a finish line to healing. Like, I'm going to do this work because I want to be done with the pain. I want to be done with the negative thinking. I want to be done with this stuff,
Yeah.
And I learned, even talking on this season for myself, like, there really isn't a destination. And so, you know, for me, coming to that belief and that knowing was like, what now? Like, if healing doesn't stop, what does that mean for me? And it brought me to the thought of like, to live, right? Like, to live in a way that brings me joy as consistently as I can. So I wake up and I'm always looking for it. Even if it's a really difficult day, which doesn't, like, that's what it means. Like, you're not escaping the pain. You're not escaping necessarily overthinking at times or your patterns that you're not too crazy about that you got going on. But what you are able to do is just like find joy in that, or or just like not let it impact you the same way that it may have before. And you're able to like navigate your day a little bit better. And that means everything to me. So yeah, what is healing, what have you come to around like the understanding of like, we really never stop?
Yeah, for sure. You know, healing is an endless journey. And like a lot of people will say, it's non-linear. So even though it's endless, it doesn't just mean that like, oh, I get to this point and I just keep progressing forward. Sometimes,
Sometimes you
sometimes
regress
you
until you go back,
you
take a
take two
step
steps
back.
back,
Right.
and then you find your way forward again. Like, I did also think like, but oh, you know, if I just work on this enough, or I, you know, learn this skill, I'll be healed. I won't have, you know,
I won't be triggered.
I won't be triggered. Yeah, I won't be triggered. I won't have any of like these moments anymore. I won't ever have any of these feelings anymore. Um, and it was my healing journey that taught me that like, yeah, healing is endless, and it's about like it sounded like for you, and what meditation also did for me is that it taught me how to be present enough to, like you said, like you were able to find joy again, but you thought it would take the pain away, but it didn't take the pain away. But what it did for you and me was that, what it sounds like is that it allowed us to be present enough to also experience the joy,
Right.
and not only
Yeah,
the pain.
exactly.
So,
And
yeah.
I think, you know, my therapist used to tell me a couple of things where she'll be like, two things. Sasha, you don't have to heal every day. And she will also be like, you know, two things can be true, right? And so that's how I think about joy and pain, right? Like, just because I'm in pain doesn't mean I'm not always also joyful. Like, and that's such a like extraordinary thing about life itself and like our feelings. It's like you can feel more than one way, and there is always more than one truth, because this is my perspective. But it's not, it doesn't mean that it's yours. And it doesn't mean that yours is wrong and mine is right. Both things are able to exist together, and that's fine. Like, that's the part I became more okay with. Like, okay, I'm not having a great day, or I'm not feeling that great, but in this moment, this is making me feel good. Like, sticking to my commitments that I made for myself. And that's why I talk about a lot of like, the joy is really found in the promises that you keep to yourself. Like, just the small things. It doesn't have to be anything big. It's just like, I said I was going to the gym. And I'm going regardless of how this day go. You know, unless my legs not working or something crazy happen. But movement is going to happen today. Like, I'm going to stay dedicated to that. And every day, that gives me, like, that's the joy. That's the win. And that makes me feel good. Even if I'm not feeling overall great. It's like, keeping that plugged in changes things, you know?
That sense of daily accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say for me, also like some days I will accomplish, those goals that I set out to accomplish that day. And sometimes, even at that, I'm like, okay, I accomplished these goals, I did, my meditation, and I did, make sure I was moving. Um, I did journal, and most of the times when I do journal, by the end of my journaling session, I do feel a lot better. A lot of times,
Yeah.
I do.
We just gotta get it out. We just gotta get
Yeah.
it out. Release it.
But sometimes it's like overall, it's like okay, like I'm not, I'm still not feeling that great or feeling like that joy. And like in those moments, that's when like I force myself to be present enough to have gratitude. So there's always and look for things that I am grateful for.
Real talk, yeah.
And then once I'm thinking about all of the privileges that I have in my life or everything that I have to be grateful for, I'm like, okay, I can be maybe, and that's where yes and. So it's like maybe like, I'm not having the best day, but not but and
yeah,
I am grateful for all of these things.
Yeah.
Like I have so much to be grateful for, and I'm like filled with joy because I'm just
like that.
I'm just full of gratitude. Yeah, just
exactly.
yeah. So,
I think gratitude is such like it's the bridge to our happiness and our joy. Always, like if you can just start looking for the things that you like, being cool with what you already have and what you are. And meditation taught me that of like everything is happening. There's trust in my body already without me having to do a whole bunch of things to control my situation or day. Like my heartbeat is already doing its thing. My breath is going to continue to, I'm breathing without any, I was doing like no knowledge really, like just no effort, rather. And so with that, like everything is good because I know that's not happening for everybody. That didn't happen to everybody today, and that's immediately where I'm like thankful, and I feel that. So yeah, meditation, y'all. Don't sleep on it. If you, and you can do it. I love that you say you can meditate. Like you don't have to be sitting. You don't. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Like you could be meditating while you just walking. Sometimes it's just taking the headphones out and allowing yourself to be present with nature and things like that. And like you said, sometimes it's just in the shower. And it doesn't have to be lengthy, It doesn't have to be the 20 to 30-minute type of thing. It's just always like knowing that you can return to yourself, I feel like, at any given moment. And you could be in a chaotic place and still take 3 deep breaths or 4 deep breaths. And that's like really you just being one with yourself in a moment. So it's a game changer. That's all we saying. That's all we saying. But yeah, the belief that healing has some type of finish line. Coming to that truth was hard at first, but I actually love now knowing that it never stops and like I can change and experience everything about life because I think that's important to just like be okay with experiencing everything. Like this thought of like dance in the rain, like dance in the storms, because it's not always going to be stormy.
I would say also for me too, it's like it's a privilege to know that every day I can, be a better person. It's a privilege to know that I can and will continue to grow.
Yeah.
That I don't just plateau or become stagnant. Like
Love that.
I will
Right.
keep
You're gonna
growing.
keep
Like
going. Yeah.
I keep improving. I keep, showing up.
Showing up. That's it. And that's really all it is too. Is like you don't always have to be doing all these things. You don't have to every day be keeping a tally of like, let me make sure I meditate today. Let me make sure I read today. Let me make sure I do all these things to grow. It's really just allowing yourself to be present a lot of times with what is. Because the growth gonna happen regardless.
It can. I've also learned that growth has to be, and it can, once you've already learned the skills of how to like
Apply.
Growth does have to be intentional.
Yeah, you gotta want it.
You have to want it, and that's why I learned too. Healing is intentional. That's why healing is a never-ending journey. Because sometimes you may maybe a skill that you learned is learning how to even for myself, learning how to show up better in your relationships with people, or in your communication and things like that, or expressing yourself. Those things, in order to continue growing, you don't just learn the skill and then it's just like, oh, I got it. No,
you
it
gotta
has
keep
to,
practicing
yes,
that skill.
it's
right?
an intentional, continued practice in every situation that you show up, that you choose to respond differently using this new skill that you've learned.
Very true. I'm glad you corrected me on that, because you're right.
Yeah, but also that's where I've also learned that's where presence is so important. That's where presence has helped me so much, and um, not only just having those moments of of meditation, of just being silent and present, and focus on my breathing, or the sounds or the world around me that I'm taking in, but it's just also uh, being present and in tune with my own body, and noticing shifts.
Ooh, that's real.
Being able to notice those shifts within my own body, my own emotions, my own mood. That's not always just a thought, but even when that thought comes, being present enough to recognize what happened before that thought
before
came.
the thought came. How is your body? Because the body already knows.
The body knows.
Yeah.
So that helped me even in learning how to respond differently, in conversations, or even in anger, being able to not just respond, but in conversation, it's you want to be able to listen to the person and truly understand before you respond. You want to do the same thing with your body, to be in a constant conversation with your body, to listen to it and understand it before you respond externally.
And it's such a beautiful thing to get to know your body.
Yeah.
Get to know that body, because it's ready to talk to you now. If you're going to listen, it's ready.
And that's a continued practice always. Also, because we are always, we're always changing, we're always growing, we're always evolving. So in order to be able to recognize those things and continue to meet our needs in that evolution, in that growth, we still have to continue to continuously check in with our body to see how those needs are changing and adjusting also.
Oof, that's a word. No, for real. Speaking of body and how the body feels, when I started doing all this inner work, it was really uncomfortable, so many parts of it, right? And I think because I asked for peace of mind. It's my that's always my ask. That's my thing. I need peace of mind because I spent so much time up here in chaos. It didn't always be that my life was actually looking chaotic, but in this mental space, be a lot happening. So I was like, I need a peace of mind. But peace don't always look peaceful in a sense. And I had to get used to boredom, like what people may say is boredom, or being okay with rest and things of that nature, because I would find myself like, I have removed so many things, or things have fallen off to give me the peace. Like what I asked for is actually showing up, but now I'm like, I'm in my apartment. Maybe I didn't have nothing to do, but now I'm creating all these things to do, because really my body's cool, but my mind is still like, we're not comfortable in this space yet. Like you need to be active. Like the idea of my worth being tied to productivity always, right?
Yeah.
And so and so do you, when we're in that state of like, I would say, like, some people say we're becoming, and some people say you're just like remembering who you are, because the body already, like we just said, like the body already knows who you are. And I have seen it like that. Like I'm working through getting my, really this part of myself, my mind, to be okay with what my body has already known all along, which is like, at the start of my days, I'm peaceful. Before I start thinking about what I need to do, where I need to be, who I need to talk to, my body is good. It's like, girl, like we're set. Like, and so it took me a while to just learn how to overcome the kind of jitters or anxiety parts of like, we always got to be adding value to something, somewhere. What's been, I think you might have said earlier that that's something you still, was that an area that you're still navigating? I think it's always an area we're navigating, really, but just what your experience has been when you kind of started finding that peace of mind, and then you like, is this for real? Just like when good things start happening for real, you'd be like, but like you're bracing, like your mind, is still bracing for the impact of it not being so great.
Yes, that's a practice also. Um, I think we all have to continue working on that, because it's like when we are like bracing for that impact of something. Oh, the shoe's gonna drop. This isn't gonna last forever. You know, what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
But then like we're not allowing ourselves to actually feel that full
Joy
joy
in the
of that present
moment.
moment,
Yeah.
because we're thinking of like the next thing. And then so like, but that's where we're like keeping ourselves in like that negative mental state, because like, look, we have joy happening right now, right here, and we aren't feeling it. Like, yes, like obviously, like, and that's where it's like, okay, that's when it's like, okay, yes, like something is going to happen. Something always happens, but exactly, something is not happening now. So don't we want to enjoy it while we can?
Yeah.
Because exactly, this moment may not last forever.
It may not, and you missing it because
and
you try
missing
to.
it. You're missing it, and you know what? It just might.
It just might. But do we have to, staying there in our mental space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say I just might. I mean, like this good thing just might last forever. So you don't want to. Don't you don't, and then in that mental state.
And you talking about it not lasting forever, you might be putting that into play already, Like something gotta happen. Something might happen now. But it wasn't gonna be that way.
Yeah. And then you're sitting there like, see, I knew it.
Yeah, because
you just self-sabotage.
the ego always wants to be right, man. The ego always wants to be right. It don't care. It's just like, yeah. Because the mind is just trying to keep you safe, which is a beautiful thing. But we have to be able to identify the safety from what we used to have to do to be safe to like, maybe that's not the case anymore. Like this whole thing of like, I begin to ask myself, who am I now that I'm not in a state of survival? Like, because growing up, that's growing up, different parts of my life, yeah, like it's always been, I think, me coming from that place and my mind coming from a state of survival. But now it's like, I ask for this peace of mind. And when I look around and actually give myself the time to like see it, I'm like, it's pretty damn peaceful. Like, what am I tripping over? Like, but then it's like, now that I don't have to do all these things, I don't have a hustle and bustle type of mentality in the sense that I had before. Like I worked a lot of jobs at one point. Always trying to like stay ahead of, I think, the bracing for impact of something. And more times out of 10, I ain't control nothing about it for real. Like, and it was never as hard as I imagined it for real either. but but telling my mentor that was like, we don't believe you. Like, and every time we get a chance to actually go against that, we're going to. But I feel like when I sit with myself, I'm like, who am I after survival type of mentality? And not to say I am fully escaped from it. Like we talk about, like you can be ahead and feel good about some things and then have moments where you're like, dang, I really have been impacted with all negative thinking all day today. Like, and it's fine. It's okay. Like we working through it. We have the tools. I think I remove like being guilty for resting. I take naps faithfully now. Um, like every day. Like I'm gonna get this nap in. Like I don't care what y'all talking about. What is happening? At some point in time, a nap is happening.
Me too. Lately, me too.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, I'm a sleeping
Yeah,
headache. I need
yeah.
my nap.
I need my nap.
I need my nap.
And so,
yes.
I become more intentional after the survival mentality of like, these things are okay. These things are actually like great. There's nothing I can do in action all day, every day that's going to change the course for me. And that's where also my faith comes in of like, it's meant for me, it's meant for me. I don't have to keep adding, because what am I doing? Like, what am I adding to for real? What am I trying to control about this thing that I know is already beautiful and has showed up and let me know that it is already? Like, so, yeah, we not feeling guilty for resting. And I think also after survival has been like, how do I celebrate myself now? Like, and also being okay with celebrating myself. Because celebrating myself or like receiving joy. How am I receiving joy? And I'm curious to know from you, like, when it comes to celebrating yourself, however you do, and receiving joy, why we find that so difficult to do more than surviving our pain necessarily? You think it's because we just been used to it? So now we're trying to get used to a different thing. What's your thoughts on that?
I think like there are so many layers to that.
It is.
I'll
follow.
I'm going to tap at maybe two of them. So one layer, maybe three. One layer, I feel like it's because what we've been conditioned to think like as far as that our worth or deservingness of rest or joy is connected directly to the amount of like productivity we have or like what we've done or what we've produced.
Yeah.
Like, that's like been instilled in us from like, you know, our environment, our family, the country that we live in, like
Yeah,
everything is like
we're like a walking product, and
yes,
looking at people as products instead of
yes.
just like their humanness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All of that. So it's
Yeah.
like it's instilled in us that like, okay, I'm not allowed to rest. I'm not allowed to have joy until like um, I've done this, this, and that. And even when I have accomplished something, I'm still not allowed to joy because I have to think about what am I going to accomplish and do next. And I just think so that
I
portion, that
resonate with
part,
that for
um,
sure.
of having to unlearn that, and then also to the part of like, on the other side of like that conditioning, a part of like being hurt or things like that. That's where like presence comes in. I feel because in order to feel and experience joy, we have to be present enough to be able to recognize it and to be in that moment to actually experience that joy. But allowing ourselves to be present, allowing ourselves to be open enough to have that experience, we are allowing ourselves to be present and open enough to actually feel,
Yeah.
which means we are also allowing ourselves to be open enough and present enough to feel those unpleasant emotions and feelings also.
Mm-hmm. That's the
So
ones we be trying to
yeah,
escape real quick, like nah.
yeah. So it's like we try to protect ourselves to avoid the unpleasant things and maybe like harden ourselves and numb ourselves where we aren't feeling anything at all, or maybe we're just going through the motions and not
Yeah.
present enough in it, not truly experiencing our days or the things that are happening in our lives. And so yeah, we're protected, but also we're not feeling that, we're not able to experience that joy and happiness either.
Exactly.
So it's like that's why I feel like that's where experiencing, allowing yourself to be present and open enough to experience joy and happiness is harder than um, just responding to pain.
Pain, because we probably know that a little bit more.
Because it causes us to be, we have to be vulnerable. We have to be vulnerable
Familiar.
and unprotected, and also like willing to know like, okay, I probably am going to experience unpleasant feelings. I probably am going to have unpleasant experiences. I am not always going to be happy, but because I'm allowing myself to feel, I also get to feel joy. I also get to feel happiness. I also get to feel love. You
Yeah.
know, I also
Yeah.
get to I also get to be present and make good memories and experiences too. And they may not last forever, but at least I get to experience them instead of protecting myself so much that I don't experience anything.
Yeah. It makes me think of how like the whole privilege, like you talking about privilege, is really just in the experiencing itself, right? Like, I think about how from a standpoint of like, I always look at life as just this ebb and flow, like it's a wave, right? And sometimes the waves are calm, sometimes they're not, but it's always just doing the same. Its purpose is the same, like to experience, and it ain't, it's not changing anything about what it is and what it represents and all the things, but it, yeah, like same thing with like love. Like a lot of times we come to know more and practice love better when we have had unpleasant experiences surrounding love. Like, so it's like both things have to be room for all of it in a sense. And it's not so much of like getting to the joy, but it's just the experience itself and the feelings that we're able to feel, whether that's unpleasant or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the privilege of the experience itself.
Absolutely. And that's where that, oh, absolutely.
You
Yes,
know,
yes. The privilege of the experience
of
itself.
itself.
And that's where like it takes us being present enough to be able to like recognize that and to look for and seek like gratitude in all of those moments and experiences. So like maybe we did experience something like unpleasant and it's like, okay, um, I'm grateful to have had this experience because it is a privilege to feel. That means I'm alive. That means
Yeah.
I'm allowing myself to feel. It is a privilege to have this experience. And also, I probably, in this experience, I learned something about myself. I learned something about love. And that's a privilege. I get to take that with me. And I get to still grow and continue to be a better person from this. So, and it was, and then also like, we're humans. We're all humans on this earth. So it is regardless of whether it was a pleasant or negative experience. Sometimes it's,
Excuse me.
I'm gonna say it's kind of, I was about to say, sometimes it's just a privilege to get to know another person, even though sometimes if that experience is not as
And and
and we cannot enjoy it. But
right, because and like even while we're talking about it's a privilege to experience, there's some things like I would never wish for anyone to have to experience, right? And so it's not to take away or diminish like how hard and hurtful and painful like anyone's experiences are, and to say like you gotta, it's not that like, but it is the end.
yeah,
Like I can look at a lot of the experiences, the extremely unpleasant experiences that I've had with people, and situations in my life, and just be like, that still hurts, even when I think about it. And I am who I am today, and I can talk about and help someone else who may be experiencing that today because of that experience.
exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and yeah, exactly that. And also we may say like, oh, like I didn't deserve that, and we didn't.
Yeah.
And
You didn't.
like
And
yeah, it's like maybe like I didn't deserve that, you didn't deserve that, and I also learned about myself, my capacity for love, and I also learned about myself, my capacity to show up for other people.
yeah.
And I learned about myself, um, my capacity to be trusting and giving, and I didn't deserve that, but also recognizing that other people's actions, um, a lot of times have nothing to do with us, or does not is not a reflection of who we are as a
Right.
person.
Yeah.
So this person did this. These were the actions that they chose. I did not deserve this, and that has nothing to do
To
with
do
me.
with you,
That
to
does
take
not make me a
on.
bad person.
Right.
That does,
Right.
yeah, that's not for me to take on. That was a decision that they made, and that is on them for them to deal with, and that is their own journey for them to live with.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think a lot of times too, in these conversations, it is easy to look at it externally. I just kind of want to touch on like personal forgiveness sometimes too, because we can look at it's a little easier to look at it externally and say, I didn't deserve this, and you know, I learned this or I experienced this, or I didn't enjoy this experience, and I am grateful for this portion of it. Um, there's also uh, when we think about that's true like self-reflection and accountability and growth and self like we also learn and reflect on the fact that maybe we personally did not show up as pleasantly as we would have liked to or could
Yeah.
have, or um, I think most importantly knew how to at that moment.
Yeah. You were
And
doing the best you
yeah,
probably could with what
yeah,
you
and
what you knew.
that is that moment of like, okay, I didn't show up in the best way in that moment. And I was doing the best that I knew how to, so I had to forgive myself for that. Also, knowing that despite myself forgiving myself for the fact that I showed up in the best way that I knew how to, the way that I showed up in that experience still affected that person in a negative way, regardless. And I can forgive myself for that because I have to, and that is the way we grow. But also, and that person has uh, they have the ability and the space to choose whether or not they want to forgive me because their own experience is their own, and their own healing journey is their own.
Yeah.
So that's also something that sometimes we have to accept and work on, like that self forgiveness and self love also, and also
Agree.
just still recognizing that like everyone's journey is separate from ours. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Truly. Okay. Yeah. I think. Well, we've discussed quite a few different things. I want to just kind of bounce some questions off of you and how, what is it that you know now and apply currently from your experiences, and just kind of what do you try to lead with people often when you have conversations with them?
what do I try to leave with people? Um, I feel like in every conversation I have with someone, I intentionally intentionally try to leave the experience of them being heard and seen, and me just being present with them in the moment.
I was gonna say presence because
Yes.
that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
stay
Just
present.
present.
Yeah.
Just presence. We're in this moment. We're here, and this is what is happening now.
Yeah.
Um, that
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is what is happening. Yeah, just presence and finding gratitude and seeking that gratitude in every moment. That yes, life happens.
Life will continue to
Life will
happen.
continue to happen. Something is always going to happen. That's what I learned in adulthood. Something is always going to happen. It's going to happen. You just it's just us learning how to function and deal with it better. And we learn how to function and deal with it better by being present, by seeking gratitude, by seeking reflection and accountability, and all of those things also require presence.
It do. You can't, and awareness. Your
And
present, the
awareness.
awareness, your
Yeah.
presence. I feel that, and I think it's it's almost kind of something I wish I knew sooner. Really, of like, there's so many moments in my life that have been truly beautiful that I can't tell you what happened at this point because I wasn't there. Like my body was there, but my mind was somewhere else. I was thinking about what was next, what was going to come next, what I needed to do next. And it's so easy to get like caught up in that, and or to think about the past, like the last time I experienced this is how it went, and
Yeah.
just kind of, so with this now opportunity, I'm not really there like that because I'm still replaying what happened before, right? Not giving it a chance to be what it is. And that's one thing I wish, yeah, wish I knew, like how much I don't have control of, like the need of letting go of the past, and also I don't have control over my future necessarily. And there's this requirement of, or at all really, but there's this requirement of having faith for me, faith without the certainty, you know. And I can trust that because every time I do that, it shows up way better than I anticipated and nothing like I imagined, which is usually fine. Like, it's usually really good, you know? And that's yes, it probably would have kept me from a lot of self-sabotaging and different things. But I'm also, you know, we all got to learn and go through our journey and how it is for ourselves, and that's fine too. But that's one thing I'm like, so yeah, if I could, if anything, like the challenge of stay present, like just allow yourself to be
Yeah.
there, you know, be fully there.
Because the only thing that we can control is ourselves, is how we choose to show up. We cannot control anyone else, and that's where it's like there's also like balance in that. So it's like in like our experiences of how we show up and interact in those experiences, where it's like we there's a balance in responding to what you mentioned earlier. There's a balance in listening to our intuition
Yeah.
and not assigning a character to someone because of our previous experiences, but recognizing that, okay, I experienced this experience before previously with someone else. And maybe when this incident happened, this is how this other person responded, or this is the, you know, the catalyst of effects that happened afterwards.
Yeah.
But this this is a different person. This person in front of me is not that person.
Yeah.
So giving, you know, being present enough to give someone the opportunity to show you who they are as an individual and to show you how they choose to show up, because we cannot control how someone else chooses to show up or how someone else chooses to respond.
True.
We can only control how we choose to express ourselves, how we choose to show up. So just allow being present ourselves and allowing other people to choose their own actions and not assign not assign one to them.
Yes. When you mention intuition, I think it's good for what I learned about intuition, listening to my intuition, and also what I think other people, you know, could benefit from is like, it's beautiful to listen to your intuition, but you also gotta like know where your frequency is at, because your intuition is only gonna be so good as the frequency that you're constantly operating at. So like if I always am accustomed to something happening when I'm in a certain place, or let's say I got like some anxiety around, I don't know, the roads and stuff like that or whatever, I think more times out of 10 my intuition is always going to feel like you gotta pull over, or you gotta do this, or you need to like not be in that situation too long, because this is like what it's been every time that you're in that place, which is good of like, it's a signal. But if I'm already always operating to expect something negative and anticipate negative things, my intuition is only as so good as what I've put in there, like what I've tied to that, if that makes sense. Like, so like when I'm operating a little like higher, I think it's the awareness of knowing that I'm operating higher. So when I do step into those similar environments where I previously had a lot of like hard things happen or whatever the case is, again, I can trust my gut more, I think, than what I can when I'm always playing into the mind games for myself.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know,
hear you. No, it makes sense. It does make sense.
because I know
hear
some
you.
people be like, I'm always going with my gut. I'm always going to listen to my gut, you know. And I think that's great, but I'd be like, but you're always in this space about everything. So
Yeah.
the gut only is going to keep you like to the limitations that you've put around yourself.
I think that's where also like faith comes in and trust, because Part of that is learning the difference in between. I feel like all of that is not the same. So to me, like part of that is learning the difference between your intuition and operating out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we are in a state of mind of survival and self-preservation and protection. So we're completely operating out of fear. How do I protect myself in every scenario and every moment, and not being present enough to actually hear and listen to our intuition?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we're just in a hyper-vigilant state where every moment we're like bracing.
On guard, like
So
you defensive all day. So
so it's like that's where like our frequency is so our frequency, our mind, all of it is so our body, our nervous system is so clouded and blocked by all of this busyness of fear and anxiety and just hypervigilance and trying to anticipate the next bad thing that is going to happen. That we are not in a space where we actually can truly hear and listen to our intuition
and know
to
the
be able to
difference,
follow it
right?
and know the difference.
Yeah.
And that is also where it comes to working with having faith and trust in ourselves. That and being observant and trusting in ourselves that okay, I wouldn't keep myself in like I'm just being smart sometimes. Just like, okay, I wouldn't keep myself in a negative situation, or like, you know, I'm observing that this is happening. So like maybe I will like remove myself, but also at the same time, just like seeking the best case scenario too in the first place. So just not always working on not always assuming
the worst.
The worst.
Yeah.
Not always assuming that the worst is going to happen, or assuming that the worst in a person or the worst in an experience, but assuming that something good is going to happen. Like this is going to be a great experience. This is going to go exactly the way I planned for it to go.
Yeah.
Because I have faith and I believe it to
because
be
you
so.
and like exactly because you're incorporating like intuition. You're going inside yourself with all of this. So like if you're not instilling good things from an internal place, then it has no choice but to just align with what you put in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah. And that's a continuous practice also, because we're always constantly working on unlearning like those behaviors that kept us safe and protected. So it can absolutely be our first instinct to protect ourselves and to have a negative thought, and it's doing that continuous work to combat that thought. And like okay, our first thought may be, oh, like this is not going to go the way I want it to go, and we can combat that thought with what if it does? This can absolutely go the way I want it to go, but also let me go into this experience with the faith and the belief that this will go the way I want it to go. Why? Because I put in the work for it to go the way I want it to go. I'm showing up with an open heart and open mind.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for it to not go the way I don't want it to go. And I've done everything that I need to do for it to go the way I want it to go. And in any situation that it doesn't go the way I want it to go, I can be okay and at peace knowing that
you brought your fullest self to the situation.
That I've done my portion, and I've done my portion to make sure that it does. So when it doesn't, that was out of my control. Either that was out of my control, and maybe the reason why it didn't go the way it was supposed to, the way I desired for it to go, is because it was for protection, or was it meant to be?
Just some redirection.
Whatever the case. Yeah. And even in that case, we can be grateful for the experience or try to find the lesson learned or any of that. But it's just balance in everything. Balance.
It's your face. Balance. Yes. Yes.
Balance. There's a a weight to everything, a negative, a positive. We gotta find that.
When's your birthday? This is
Find
completely
that.
random.
When is my birthday?
Yeah.
You want to know what sign?
Can I guess?
Guess.
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna guess something off. Not Taurus.
No.
No. It's actually giving a water sign, I feel like. Yeah. Am I right about it being a water sign? I know.
You are.
Okay, now which one? Which water sign? Which water sign? It's not you're not giving Cancer.
It's a given. I'm not a Cancer. I am not. So
Okay.
we are moving in the right direction.
What's my other waters? What's my other two options? Jeez.
Scorpio and Pisces.
Pisces.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Big Pisces.
Big Pisces. I love. My mom is a Pisces.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a lot of Pisces energy in life, actually, so I'm surprised I was struggling with that, for real. Wow.
Probably because, okay, so fun fact, my son is a Pisces. My sun placement is my only water sign placement in my entire chart.
Wow.
And my chart ruler.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the other ones?
A lot of air and fire.
Okay. Because you do give quite a bit of fire. That would have been my other thought process. Or, well, I don't know why I said Taurus at first. I think because I keep attracting them sometimes, and I'll be like, why? Help. To all my Taurus friends and people, man, I love y'all. Y'all be trying to keep me grounded.
Yeah.
But I am a lot of air and fire, so all that grounding don't be meshing with me too well sometimes, because my Taurus people, they like the things they like a routine, they like to keep it chill, know what's happening, and I'm like, let's spice it up a little bit.
I feel you, because I have virtually no earth in my chart, so
wow.
Water, air, fire.
Water, air, fire.
We go with the flow.
Taurus be like, take that stuff somewhere else. This is what I like.
Yeah.
Oh, so.
Am I? Oh, he's a Capricorn.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Earth. You know, he's very structured.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
My go with the flow energy and lack of structures.
He be so over with. She be right, be done with you. Like, girl, go ahead.
Yeah.
But it's needed. I ain't, again, like, I think when I've had Taurus energy in my life, it was so necessary. Because I think sometimes when you're pulling in certain energies, it's just an opportunity to be like, what's this thing that is being asked of me? Like, that I'm seeing this energy so much show up, and I feel that, like, there's been, every time I needed a grounding, there was a Taurus somewhere in the area. but then they'd be like, we cool for a while, then they'd be like, okay girl, like, please. But as I'm an air, so when you mention balance, of course, being a Libra, but then it's fire. So I think my sun is in the Libra, and I think that helps me not to tip so much.
Are you a Leo rising?
Sagittarius rising and Leo moon. Yeah. And then my Venus is in Leo.
You wanna know what's so funny? So you're a Sagittarius rising and a Leo moon. I'm a Leo rising and a Sagittarius moon.
Ooh, like that. Yeah, me and Leos go together real bad. Also, any fire, really, I think we do well, typically. Yeah. But we also we need something or someone to help us.
Third party.
Keep
Our feet on the ground.
Keep us together. Help us out. But yeah, so I guess that's where your Pisces might be helpful to that. My Libra is helpful to the fire, for sure. But anyway, I didn't mean to get too off topic. But I love trying to guess because astrology is so interesting to me. I be studying that as much as I can, just learning about the houses and what these things represent. And it's not to say for me that just like how I feel about the Taurus energy that has showed up in my life, I'm always going to be open to my Taurus people. So it doesn't stop me from being open to people. I think sometimes people be like, I'm never. If you the sun, I'm never. Which I feel y'all. I feel y'all sometimes. But also like the way people give people an opportunity to show up, it could be different for each one. Not everyone is typical to their signs, I would say. Yeah.
But because the entire chart matters.
The entire chart does matter. And I be trying to have conversations, right? Like we got, like I pull up, when we meet, I'm like, pull up the chart, pull up your chart. Do you know it? Do you know it? Let's talk about it, right? Where is that Mercury at? Where is that Jupiter? Where is that Mars at? Like, baby, like let's just have a whole session, a whole conversation on unpacking that. Because it's fun and it's just so insightful. Okay, so my last thoughts around today is just like, what's one thing right now that you are protecting at all costs?
My peace.
Yeah. Hey. I feel that. Yeah. Yeah. Mine is definitely the peace. Because, got to. Like the inner work that you're doing, the inner work I know I've been doing, and this peace of mind. I spent a lot of money in therapy, like all the things. So
and that is okay, like, because I definitely was like, let me go back to therapy. And I am going back to therapy. I do have my next startup session next week.
Hell yeah, let's go. It's beautiful. I've taken some breaks for different reasons. I also like kind of, at one point, me and my therapist decided I was in such a good place. It was like a graduation type of deal. But as I continue to just grow in different ways, it's like, I want to keep this. Like, it's been such like I've had some great therapists for the month. I'm not, as I've been getting older, I had some rough ones at certain points in life. But I feel like the ability to just go back into that space and there's always something that maybe I'm not considering, or it just puts it into perspective for me in a different way, which is super helpful. And that can change. Like, we don't have to do it every week. Sometimes what life is presenting requires that. Sometimes it doesn't. And but yeah, I'm a huge advocate for therapy, y'all. We're both. I'm in the counseling field, and so as someone who, I think for me, like, I know I've been blessed to have a deep capacity to hold people. And I love conversations where people are unraveled. That's my thing. Like, you do not have to have it all together. We do not have to come up here like we just got everything sorted out. I love the conversations about how you don't, or like what you're like, how we and you talking, like what we're working through. And so my ability to hold people, I've been working with mainly the population of people who struggle with addiction for like almost a decade now. And that also comes with mental health. Like, a lot of people are coping using substances, might be coping spending money recklessly. emotional eating. There's so many ways that we're coping to not face ourselves.
Because feeling is hard.
Feeling is hard.
Feeling is hard.
But,
Yeah.
I feel like probably something I wish somebody would have told me sooner in life too is like, if you go ahead and allow it to flow through your body, it's not so hard. You don't prolong.
In the long run, yes.
Yeah, you don't prolong that
feeling
to be something like its own monster later. You know,
because at the end of the day, it continues to be a detriment to yourself, your relationships, every experience that you have, because you will continue to show up in that fear. You will continue to show up in that self-protection. You will continue to show up in your relationships, and that automatic, like, a lot of times, like, that automatic protection already shows up as, automatically being angry or defensive or lashing out, or when you're not feeling, it's all of that emotion. It's still happening. It's building up.
And it's in your body.
It's in
right?
Your body.
It stores in your body.
Yes, it starts deteriorating, breaking down your digestion, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, like how your body functions, because you're not allowing those emotions to flow. Everything else is not allowed to flow either.
Exactly. And the body is just, the body always trying to tell us what it is. Like, if my shoulders hurt really bad, it's because I'm typically carrying too much. Like, carrying the weight, right? Like, hey, let's loosen up some of that. Like, and so, yeah.
Even one time, my personal experience, I was having constant, for a period of time, I was constantly having tonsillitis. And, like, on that reflection, my throat chakra was blocked. I wasn't speaking up. I wasn't communicating. I wasn't expressing myself. And that showed up as tonsillitis.
Yeah. I'm telling you. So
it's real.
So yeah, so in this area of like, I think I was just saying, like, as someone who loves to hold my people, has a job that requires me to do so, therapy has been beautiful for me, and doing the inner work for myself as a counselor has just allowed me to be a better counselor, for real. Because, like, I had this mentality when I first started in the field of, I had a lot of personal experience surrounding addiction and mental health in my family. And so that was like my way of, like, I want to prevent people from experiencing what I've seen and things like that. And I turned that into, like, so it is like, so I had those personal experiences, which led me to the field. And then over time, when I went in trying to, like, have this mentality of, like, I gotta save people, that's how I was. Like, I have a mentality, I got my cape on, like, I'm ready. And once I started doing my own inner work, I'm like, I don't have the ability to save nobody, for real. Like, the best thing I can give you, and the best thing I can give anyone that sits with me or whatever, is I can plant some seeds. I can share with you what I know from experience, what has been shared with me from maybe somebody else's experiences. But we all got to save ourselves, and that is fine. Like, and we're all just plugging in some things that could be helpful to each other, but the responsibility is with us, and you're going to appreciate yourself more when it is your own responsibility, when you can get yourself out of the mud, versus, like, someone trying to force you to do so, or because that, it don't mean as much. It's still meaningful, but to me it don't mean as much. And so, yeah, like, the approach of me doing the inner work, it gives more room for me to help more people, as well as, like, I just have a different perspective that I bring to the art of counseling, because I think counseling is an art. Like, your way of talking and helping people navigate through things is such a beautiful art and practice. And that's what like me going to a therapist allowed and continues to allow, you know, because like I'm not above it. So when people are like, oh, you counsel, or I'm like, I'm about to go to my therapy session. Oh, like some of my patients are like, you go to counseling? Absolutely. Like,
Therapists need therapists.
you know, and when I wasn't going, I felt it. I felt the difference. So again, just a huge advocate for therapy, y'all. So
I am too.
if you don't have it, like I have resources. I'm currently in school working on my license for mental health counseling. I believe you were in school too, right?
Working on my MSW, which is my master's in social work, with the goal of becoming a licensed clinical social worker. So I will also be counseling as well.
Yeah. It's been something I take a lot of pride in, and I'm constantly learning in, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful.
And I'm passionate. I'm passionate about the conversation of therapy too, because I think a lot of people only are knowledgeable about one type of therapy. So I'm big on the different modalities of therapy.
Same.
Because
Oh.
a lot of people only know about talk therapy, or what they call talk therapy, where you're having a conversation. And I definitely one of my big goals and motives in therapy is to be a well-rounded therapist, so that I can help guide my patients in the best way possible to help them heal themselves in the way that is beneficial to them. Because speaking about it is not always beneficial to people. A lot of times speaking about their traumas or what they've gone through is re-traumatizing to the person, and worse, worse overall, and not actually very helpful and beneficial to them.
I
So
agree.
we have like EMDR therapy, with this eye movement rhythmic therapy that helps you.
EMDR therapy saved my life.
Yeah, I've done EMDR therapy also, and actually, like, returning to it, my therapist, she works with. She does talk therapy and EMDR therapy also. And also, I'm very big on somatic therapy. But I want to tell that EMDR therapy is an eye rhythmic therapy, where you just think about, a traumatic event, and the eye movement, the rhythm of the eye movement back and forth helps move that experience or process from one side of your brain to the other. So you can actually get past staying in that moment of the experience. Because a lot of times we think about a traumatic experience that we may have had, and that just a thought or speaking about that experience puts us back in that very moment of that trauma. So it helps us move past being in that moment, so that we can process it and heal. So I love EMDR therapy.
Me too. It changed the game for me, truly.
Also, somatic therapy. I love somatic therapy. Somatic therapy is all about being present in your body and being able to recognize those signals and signs and shifts in your body. So meditation and things like that are a big practice in somatic therapy, but also just being deeper, where like in those moments of feeling anxious or feeling upset or even feeling happiness, of being able to recognize what is happening within your body, what are you actually feeling, so you can just be more connected to yourself and also be able to respond differently. So
yeah, I love that you mentioned that, in terms of just your goal is to be a well-rounded therapist.
And that's also why I got partially why I got certified in Reiki. Because I just wanted to be, I know, like, you can't always directly use Reiki in the clinical space, but just to always to be well rounded in all of the processes
Yes. Processes.
of healing, and just moving those emotions, that energy, that trauma. So Reiki is just the energetic work of healing. And I think a big practice in Reiki too is that healing is not coming directly from you yourself. So no matter what your place is in helping someone like heal, like it's not you, even like in a therapy space, it's not, like I said, like you said, you're not the savior. It's not you doing the healing for them, and it's also you feel like I'm helping guide people to heal themselves.
Yeah.
And in Reiki, like it's not coming from me. So it also helps keeps like that. It helps keep that ego down, and then also too that taking on that responsibility for someone else's journey. Yeah.
And I just like to remind people, like, you're powerful. You know what I mean? Like, don't give your power away so often. Because, like, you did that. Like, I said some words, but you had to apply it. You put it in action. Like, you did the work. I am not taking credit for your work, and I think that's important. We're also, like, ready to help and ready to be like that. But, I always want people to know, like, that's all you, baby. Yeah. You did that. You did that.
That breath work, that presence. And also, it is good to have someone to speak to.
Yes.
It gives you a different perspective. And I saw like when some people are like, oh, like, therapy doesn't work for me. Maybe
it's the type.
Maybe it's the type of therapy. Maybe it's the modality. Maybe there's something else, another way to help you work through that trauma or what you're going through to process what you've experienced or are experiencing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is the person. Maybe you just need a different therapist.
Both things, because for the longest I didn't know that EDMR would be the way of me working through my trauma best. Like, excuse me. And so, absolutely right. That's a gem of knowledge you just dropped. Like, learn some more. Like, just look up these different types of modalities when you're searching for a therapist. See what they specialize in. And sometimes, like, during that consultation, it's good to, like, bring these things to the table. It's like an interview, like, to me. Like, they trying to see if we will be a good fit. I also just have a lot of questions and want to make sure, because I know how hard it is to start sharing yourself with a stranger. And so those are just some helpful tips from us, I think. I believe this is like a wrap for me on this. I think I want to say thank you. Any additional thoughts you have? Because I feel like I learned some things from you today as well, like during this episode, and just some reminders too for myself. And I'm appreciative again for your time coming out here to share the space with me, to talk to people that follow me on my podcast and people who may get something from this. So thank you. That's really all I have. Like, just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm grateful to be here and to have shared this experience with you and to have this conversation. I've learned some things from you also, and I was just grateful to just be present in this conversation. Obviously, I believe we both enjoy conversations like this.
We do, and like that's why I'm like, I gotta have an ending, because like, or I gotta go ahead and end it in some way, in the sense of like, y'all, I can talk about this all day.
Yeah. Because I definitely did have a few more things I wanted to say about therapy, but we could just keep going. So
we can have a part 2. We can come back. There's nothing to come back. I want to, I have a lot of things today, so I'm gonna get to it, but look out for another part. We're gonna bring Janaiya back. I would love to, if you're open to it.
Yeah. I love that concept.
So I appreciate y'all. This is like just a beautiful time for me. I'm thankful for anyone who tunes into the podcast. I just want to say thank you guys and much love. Enjoy the weekend, because we're shooting this on a Friday. So take care. Much love.